Hi guys, today I'm going to make focaccia bread that all of you will be making this week. It's up to you how you decide to flavour it, but I'm following the recipe on page 308 and I'll put it up online as well. And I'm going to flavour mine. There'll be two breads that you get out of the mixture with some Kalamata olives, sun-dried tomatoes on one, and on the other some Parmesan cheese and garlic. Okay, so the other ingredients that you need is bread flour. I just always buy this. I have different ones. Like I've got pasta tipo flour 00, which is a really low protein flour, which will give you really good texture for pasta. Bread flour is high protein, so it gives you lightness, and then you just have normal plain all-purpose flour. So, but if you don't have bread flour, you can easily just use plain flour. You'll need a sachet of yeast, which has got 7 grams in there, which is not really quite 2 teaspoons, but I think that's enough, because if you put any more in, you get that really yeasty flavour. I've got some really nice, good quality olive oil, and I've got some Maldon sea salt flakes, which I love. Okay, so that's about all. You need to use warm temperate water, not too hot and not too cold, because your yeast is alive, and if it's too hot and boiling it will die, and also if it's too cold it will die. Okay, so let's get started on this. Now I'm going to sift the ingredients, 2 cups of bread flour. Now there's 2 reasons why you sift the flour, or 3 reasons really. 1 is to make sure you don't have any lumps in your flour. 2 is to disperse any kind of ingredients that you might be putting through it. So it may be yeast or baking powder or anything like that. And 3 is to aerate the flour. So I've got putting the 2 cups of flour into the sieve. My sachet of yeast and a teaspoon of salt. Now I've just got some finer salt here too for that. I think it's a teaspoon of salt. Yeah, teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to sift it. And that will disperse all the ingredients together, get rid of any lumps, and aerate the flour. Now it's saying to make a well in the centre. So just push your ingredients to the side. Add your 2 teaspoons of oil. And then we want to add not all of our water, but some of our water. So adding the water, I'm going to put about 3/4 in, and with my hand I'm just going to mix it into a soft dough. Now I want this to be really soft, so if it is not, so that's not going to be a soft dough, I'm going to add the rest of the water. Now I think it even needs a tiny bit more water, so I'm going to get some more water. Okay, I've got a soft dough. It's a bit sticky at the moment, but I'm going to turn it out onto my bench on a floured surface and start to knead it. Now you want to knead this for about 5 minutes all up, and to get those gluten strands stretched and active, and your yeast to activate. So this is a nice soft dough, and if it's a bit sticky it'll just pick up the flour on the bench as we go, so you might need to add some more flour as you go. Now if you get stuck on your hands, just rub your hands together. Now you want to knead it for 5 minutes, I think I said that, but you want to press it and then turn it, press it and turn it. Still a bit sticky, so I'm going to add some more flour. I'm just going to prepare my tray. Just put a little bit of oil on it and rub it over. And we'll get the 2 sitting across there, I think, for that. Okay, I'm going to continue kneading my dough, and I'll come back when I think it's ready and I'll show you. Now remember, when you are kneading, try and fold it and press it, then turn it 90 degrees. Fold it, press it, turn 90 degrees. Now you want this to be nice and soft with no lumps. And once, you know, after your 5 minutes, you should be able to stretch it without it breaking, okay? And then it should kind of stretch back in. Okay, my dough is now nice and soft and stretchy. What I'm going to do is just fold it around like that. So I've got a nice smooth top, and I'm going to press it and shape it into an oval that is about 2 centimeters thick. Now you could do this with a rolling pin, you don't really need to. And I'm just going to do this, pick it up, make sure it's not sticking. And we're going to put it on a tray in a warm spot and let it double in size, which will show that the yeast is activating. Okay, I've got my focaccia breads there ready to rest. I'm going to pop them in a nice sunny spot that's not drafty, nice and warm. Put a clean tea towel on, and I think it'll be about 20 to 30, 40 minutes. It should double in size. Okay guys, so these have been resting for a while now, so I'm just going to just do that on each of them. And I'm going to drizzle it with olive oil and sprinkle a little bit of sea salt on these. And I'm going to pop in some olives, and doesn't necessarily have to be in those holes. And I am going to put some sun-dried tomatoes on this one too. And I'm going to just do rosemary and garlic on that one. Now these can be used just to have with a soup, or you could let them puff up a bit more and use them to toast some sandwiches in them. They're delicious like that. Anything like that, alongside just with some dip or something like that. But they're very nice. Okay, so here, this one, I've just got some rosemary sprigs, and I'll chop up some garlic and sprinkle that on. Okay, so I've just chopped up my garlic, and I'll put lots of garlic on this, maybe a little bit, because this is just a plain one, a bit more rosemary and a bit more olive oil and salt. Just push those in to secure them a bit. Put a bit more olive oil. Now if you wanted to at this stage, you could let them rise a bit more, or otherwise then we just put it in a really hot oven, and we are going to put a hot oven, 220, for about 15 minutes. Then turn it down and then bake it for another 5. Okay guys, they've been cooked at 220 for 15 minutes and then at 200 for 5 minutes, and I've got some beautiful bread here. It should sort of sound hollow when you knock it on the bottom. This is hot, so it's a kind of solid thing. I'm going to cut a piece and see what it looks like inside. I'm just going to cut a little piece off the end here, and I'm going to show you. This is delicious. Now you can see it's got a really nice fine crumb, and it's straight out of the oven, so it's really hot, but that will be delicious served with fruit, with dips. You could make an antipasto platter with that, but anything, it's great. I hope you enjoy making this and doing this task.